Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm finally ready to show you my 2024 planner and journal lineup. Without further ado, we're just gonna get started. I have all my planners and journals lined up. Only two of these are actual planners, meaning I will be actually planning in them. The rest are journals. So I think I'll start with the planners first. And right off the bat, you may notice some of them. If you've been a long time watcher of my channel, you will see that some of these are from the previous years, or in fact most of the ones that I'm going to show you today are from the previous years, and I will be reusing some of my older journals as well. So I'm just gonna get started, and the first one I want to talk about is this blue A5 Gillio Campagna, which is basically a A5 rings, and I had purchased this last year, it was intended to be one of my planners to help me get through like task management, but I had not used this at all last year. Middle of the year this year, I think it was in July or was it June, I'm not very sure, but middle of the year this year I took on a new job, and it is a 9 to 5, so I figured the Gillio A5 Campagna is possibly the best planner that I could actually use for my work, because I did want to separate the planning or the writing component that I do on a regular basis with the ones that I'm doing just for work, which is why this, the layout that I have set up for this A5 rings is pretty decent for my work, my corporate job. And I'm not going to go extremely in depth into it. I do want to, probably show you or, film a video talking about my work planner, specifically relating to an A5 corporate job. I work in the IT industry, and I wanted to film something like that, but I'm not, so I will probably not go into too much detail in this particular video. But I have the A5 30 millimeter rings, and I'm just using post-it notes to just use tabs, and that's what's just been working for me. It's pretty nifty. I think it's pretty straightforward as well, but I do have some sections in here that I have set it up in a way that works for me. So because of the fact that I got the new job and I took on this new job, and I want to separate the content that I am putting in my home business, like stationary business planner versus the one that I'm using for my corporate job, I figured having this A5 Campagna it's just been perfect for me. And granted that it is not very portable. I don't carry this everywhere if I'm going to work, if I'm going to the office, but I have papers that I can just tuck into the planner that I will just hole punch when I'm done with the work that I have in the office. So I have a smaller notebook that I take, and if there are things that I have taken down, I will just tear off the page, hole punch them, and put it in, into this planner when I get back in the day. And it helps me just archive things from every year. And that is also the mechanism that I wanted for the work planner. So this has been like really, really helpful. And I'm actually very happy that I've found a use for a planner that was just laying around, and it was just, I wouldn't say collecting dust, it was just not usable in any way until the middle of the year. So the A5 Gillio Campagna, which is the A5 rings, is going to be my, work planner for the next year. And I think it has been working really well for me so far. I've been using it almost every day. I wouldn't say every single day, but I've been using it almost every day since July. So it has been working. So I'm pretty happy with this, and this will just continue with me into 2024. Next up, we have my home, at-home planner, which is at-home planner on a regular day when I'm not going into work, basically when I'm not going into the office. And, this is also the book that I use for planning my small business stuff. So this is actually the A5 cousin from 2023, which I will be using in 2024 as well. So one of the things about this year is, because I did get, a job this year, and since I had, work planned out specifically for my job, I did notice that I'm not journaling or planning every single day in this notebook. And I have, incurred quite a lot of blank pages in this because there are several weeks that I go into the office and I just have nothing else in my mind other than, my 9 to 5. And by the end of the day, I just don't have anything to write down in my regular notebook, even from a planning perspective and even from, a journaling perspective. So I have noticed that I have several blank pages, and considering that I will be continuing my corporate job for next year, it just makes sense for me to not, maybe invest in a full Hobonichi cousin, and which is why I plan to reuse this book for next year as well. My planning system has changed, meaning I'm still using the Hobonichi cousin, but the way that I have planned has changed. And while I still have these blank pages out here, I also feel like there are a lot of pages in here that I can reuse. And I am also trying to, just make sure that I am not investing in a full-blown Hobonichi cousin when I really don't need it. And I know for a fact that I don't need it because, things are just going to get more busy next year when it comes to my work, my 9 to 5. And I realized that having or trying to keep a full planner might not work for me, which is fine. And I think everybody's situations in life changes. It is also important for us to revisit things that have worked, and based on the situations that you're going through, there are things that change. So you just have to work around it. And one of the things that I really like about, the Hobonichi cousin as a whole is there are pages specifically calling out the year 2024 that you can reuse. So for example, I have, if you can see, right, at the end of the month of 24, or at the end of the year of 2023 in December, you do get 3 additional months, even in the January start Hobonichi cousin. So I do have January, February, and March of 2024 in the 2023 Hobonichi cousin. And I have slightly changed the way that I plan. I don't use the weekly pages for planning anymore. I tried it out in the beginning of the year. It just didn't work. And I cannot see beyond, the vertical hourly planning. So I have not been using the weekly layout. Instead, I have been using my monthly to write out all the tasks that I need to complete, and basically just, fill out things that have to get done in a particular day. And that's how I've been using or planning per se in the Hobonichi cousin. And while I will run out of pages, for 2023, I do have 3 months that I can use. And what I've done for the rest of the year is I've just used Peanuts Planner Co. Inserts. Basically, these are her freebie inserts, monthly pages. I think it's a month on 2 pages, which is very similar to how, a Hobonichi layout looks like. You can see that I am a Monday start kind of a person, so I use the Monday start pages. So from right after I have March, I have started sticking in the ones for April. And while I have not filled out the entire year, and it's a little clunky the way I've done it, it's still okay for me to stick the pages in and use them as inserts because, the Hobonichi cousin can take a few extra pages. There's nothing wrong with it. And, they're basically tip-ins, right? So I have printed the stuff, but I have not pasted every single one of it. So I have April out. I have the May, first half of May, and I've just stuck December in here. I just need to put everything else right there. So it will help me with my planning style for next year. And I have also made slight changes to how I will find blank pages within my notebook. So if you can see, these are all, tabs that I have annotated. I have still not completed. This is probably only half a year's worth of tabs. So this is the last that I've tabbed. And basically this is an indication that anything that is tabbed is a blank page or has enough area for me to, write and plan for the year 2024. So that's how I'm going to figure out that it's a 2024 entry versus a 2023 entry. Anything with a colored tab sticking out is a 2024 entry. And anything with or without it could be, like a 2023 entry. So not every single page is a blank page. So for example, on the April 20th, I still have area here that I can write, but it's not a full blank page, right? So it's 2023 plus 2024. So this is just, things that have worked for me. I feel like this is enough for me to figure out for the next year. And I do know that somewhere in September, when I started counting the pages, so there are 149 blank pages up until September, and it's just increasing as I'm going through the year because I'm not able to write every single day in this. And it's just, it's just worked in a way that I've usually had I'm using one page for 2 days. That's how it's been going for me. And I think that's been working for me well. And I think I'm just going to continue it for next year. And by the end of the next year, when I run out of pages, I can get another Hobonichi cousin because I absolutely love this book. I don't think anything, this is purely my opinion, by the way, I don't think anything can compare to the Hobonichi cousin. I don't know what it is. This book is one of my favorite things in the entire world. And while I have not been able to be in this book every single day of the year, I'm really happy that I'm actually continuing this very same book for the next year because I do feel a little, when I get a fresh book, and this might be the same for a lot of us, when I get a fresh book, it feels like I'm not able to break it in immediately, not because I'm having I don't want to mess it up, but I like seeing pages that are filled. So it's just a little difficult for me to get into it right away. So I'm really happy that, this has been working for me, and I will just continue to use the very same book for next year. And if I run out of pages, I also have these A5 memo pads from the Hobonichi brand itself. This is the one from the Mother collaboration that I usually keep at the end of this book. I'm just going to use this. I have used this from 2023 and I still have not finished the entire setup. So I've used up until 16 pages and it's November of this year. So, and we have around 47 pages in total. Well, 47, pages. It's just half of those in sheets in total. So this with this combination works really well, and I will just continue to use it. Absolutely love this book. The cover is by VDS. It's a Nero Croco Codex. I also love this. This is what I've been in for the entirety of the year, and I think I will just continue this. So that is my at-home planner, which I will also use for my, stationery business. All right, so let's move on to journals. So earlier, I think it was in October. I feel like this was in October. Yeah. So I have been, I have been tracking all the manga and stuff that I read in my Hobonichi cousin over the course of, the last couple of months. And basically what I do is I use the weekly pages to write down everything that I'm reading. So on the 16th of October, I was reading Full Metal Alchemist. I was reading Full Metal Alchemist and catching up on the JJK series, Jujutsu Kaisen series on the Thursday. And any thoughts that I have about the series in particular, I just write it here. And that's been working really well for me. And I'm able to keep up with this. It's not necessary that I have to write something every single day, but it's been perfectly fine. And the days that I don't read, I just don't write anything in there. And while I like this setup, I will again run out of pages by the end of this year because I'm planning to reuse this book. And I had originally intended to purchase, the tiny weekly supplement that Hobonichi has for the A6 size. But I decided against it when I was placing my Hobonichi order because I was still looking for something specifically to cater to some of the requirements I had, which is where this little pocket Nolty notebook comes into play. This is probably one of my favorite purchases of this year, and it is slightly an expensive find. Nolty as a brand, it is a Japanese brand. It is not, it's not extremely popular, but it is pretty popular if you think about it. The brand itself has several notebooks, like several planners that you can use. I know that they have like weeks type planners, A5 notebooks. They also have this version, which is a gilded edge notebook that comes in another version as well, which does not have the gold edging, but has like a black or a red edges with the regular, I think, plastic PU cover. But I found this one, which is slightly expensive. This is actually a leather cover, which is inbuilt into the notebook. I believe this is sheepskin leather, and it has the gilded edges. And if I look at the exact model, it's 3121, if you can see that. So Nolty has two of these kind of notebooks. One is the 3111 and the second one is the 3121, which I have. This is not exactly true pocket size. It's probably 1 centimeter larger, like taller and wider than the true pocket size. And I am going to use this book as a, reading journal for next year. And I want to continue doing this every single year because it is a little luxury that I think I feel I deserve. I've been reading for pretty much all my life, and as I grow older, I have realized that there are certain times that I completely forget that I've read a series, which is why I started tracking the series that I read in my Hobonichi Cousin. And I also really like the way that the Hobonichi Cousin has this laid out. But the thing about the Nolty is, and I've already started using this book, by the way, so this is kind of very similar to the Hobonichi Weeks. It has the horizontal weekly layout with some extra pages in the back, not too many, mind you. There are some additional pages like you see in the Hobonichi notebooks. I think this is basically like a map of the probably the train stations. I'm not very sure, but this is the general layout. It's a horizontal weekly, very similar to the Hobonichi Weeks. And the thing that I really like about this notebook, and the reason why I wanted to use it for my manga or any reading journal item, is because they have these kind of Gantt charts that are pretty nice when you are wanting to track the series that you are reading. I've still yet to fill stuff in here, so I really like when I pick up a new series, and especially if it's a longer series, I want to see how long did I spend reading it or catching up to it. And I've not been able to do that in any of the books that I have, simply because, I can probably do it in the, the year at a glance page like this one. But again, it's kind of difficult to track what you are reading from that kind of a perspective. You can do it here, but then I will not have space to actually plan stuff. So, which is why I figured I really wanted to have something that, has this kind of a layout. And I think you can use this for a whole lot of things, like project management, project planning, etc. But I really like this layout, and I think it will work really well for like a tiny reading journal. And I've seen a lot of pictures of these on the on Instagram. Like I've seen folks with, you know, this kind of book, the leather cover one, that just gets really soft and chunky by the end of the year. And I really want to try and get it to be that way. So I did give myself a little luxury and I picked this up. This is slightly expensive. I think this was around $45. I ordered it on Amazon Japan. Well, I ordered it on Amazon, regular Amazon US, but they shipped it from Amazon Japan. And there's something about this book, quick sniff nest. It smells so good, and the paper is not Tomoero paper. They have something like a proprietary paper, so it's not exactly, you don't necessarily know what kind of paper it is, but it is something that the Nolty brand uses. The gold edging on this, it's beautiful. Like it is a very yellow gold kind of edging, kind of very different from a lot of other muted gold edging I've seen. So this is like so soft. It smells so good. It feels so luxurious. And by the way, like when I purchased this, I also got this kind of tiny memo notebook. I think there were 2 of these. So if I ever run out of pages, I can just use this as a additional notebook to write down my thoughts. And I intend to use this for like I said, you know, as a reading journal, just to write down the thoughts that I have sometimes, you know, when I'm reading stuff, things that I've picked up or things that I find interesting. I just really like keeping track of those kind of things. So that's pretty much what this is going to be. And I'm really excited. I want to continue this, you know, this kind of little thing that I have, or the thing that I've started. I would like to get another Nolty next year for 2025, but we will see how it goes. I think I'm really excited, you know, enjoying the use of this right now. But yeah, this is just going to be my reading journal for 2024. All right, so on to the next one. This is the Hiroko Kubata Weeks. I think it's called A Night of Falling Stars or something like that. This is one of the ones that I picked up from Hobonichi this year, and this is also a journal. This is meant to be my tarot reading journal. So I have decided to dabble a little bit in the art of tarot. Well, not the art, the science, or maybe the connections of tarot. And I originally intended to use this. You know, I was trying to get the Full Metal Alchemist tarot set, the one that has been created by that artist who created it I think they've created it in 2018, and it's really difficult to get your hands on it. It's the Full Metal Alchemist tarot. Let me know if any of you guys have it, because it's one of those things that I really want to own. But it was really difficult to get that. And I really wanted to get into tarot and learn a little bit about it. So I decided to get a deck, or purchase a deck, which is, I know Megan Rhiannon, Petite Gloom on YouTube, has a tarot deck as well, which is what I eventually landed on when I was researching, you know, tarot decks that have good artwork on them. So I purchased a tarot deck, and I wanted to use it for reading and learning it. And I'm just using this notebook, this Hobonichi Weeks, as my tarot learning journal. And it's actually the perfect size. These are basically, I just took pictures of the tarot deck and printed it and just stuck it. And I'm just writing, you know, the original meaning behind the Fool tarot in the Rider-Waite deck, versus how I would interpret the Fool that has been created by, Mio Im, who is the artist behind this particular tarot deck. So I already started it. This is not a, you know, planner kind of a thing. I'm just starting right from the beginning, and I haven't reached too much. I've just reached the Empress, and I still have the major and the minor arcana to go. But I really am excited about this, and I really like the fact that this layout seems a little magical. There are a lot of stars, and it just feels really good for it. So I will be using this one for my tarot learning this year, and I think I won't run out of pages with this because there is more than 78, which is the major and the minor arcana limit. And I feel like if I have more thoughts about a particular card, I can continue just writing in one of the back pages if I don't run out of pages. And of course I do have you know, those week's memo. I have week's memo pages as well that I can tuck into the back of this card, which I will use. So this is my really sweet tarot learning journal. I absolutely love this, and I feel like this is one of the things that I'm really excited for this year, and you can already see I've started using it. And of course, my final one is the journal that I'm carrying from this year to the next. This is my Inuyasha Spring Start 7-year journal that I started this year, and I absolutely love this one. There are certain changes that I've done from whence I started this particular journal, but if you would like to see an in-depth video of how I set this up to become like my 7-year journal, I will link a video in the cards above, and I will probably do a flip through of, you know, year one of my 7-year journal probably by the end of this year, hopefully. So I'm just continuing to carry this into next year. I absolutely love this. It's one of those genius moment kind of things that I have once in a lifetime, and I'm very proud of this particular journal. So 7-year journal, going to continue for the next 6 years because I have this set up until 2029. And I feel like the artwork, I mean, Inuyasha is one of my absolutely favorite series of all times. Well, not absolute favorite, but I have really fond memories of it, of the entire cast of Inuyasha. So, which was one of the reasons that made me want to use this as something that I want to carry for many years. And that's how this came about. And I'm just really glad that, you know, this has stayed with me for this first year. A lot of things, you know, it feels really good reading stuff, you know, finding out where you were at one particular time of the year. And I feel like it's going to be even more special when I start writing the next year. That's when you really start seeing how your 7-year or multiple year journals look when you start the second year. So yeah, the weeks is like perfect layout for all of these. It's really tiny and portable, but there is enough space for me to write stuff if I feel like I want to write more. So this is my last journal that I'm going to carry into 2024. So those are all my planners and journals for the year 2024. 2 of my planners and 3 of my journals. Well, technically, you know, the Hobonichi cousin, I do journal in it occasionally. So things that happen daily, the stuff that I want to just randomly rant about, I do write it in the Hobonichi cousin. But this is primarily my planner, my home / stationary business planner, and this would be my work planner. So I'm really happy with the lineup that I have. I feel like I have enough sprinkled in, you know, to keep myself entertained, especially with this new hobby that I'm trying to learn. It's not a huge undertaking, and I feel like an entire year is more than enough time, hopefully, fingers crossed, to learn the entire major and minor arcana and try to figure out some stuff on my own. And I really like this setup that I have going on, and I feel like this is not going to keep me extremely overwhelmed. These are just things that I usually have in one planner that I'm going to have to make space in the second one because I'm running out of pages in this one, and I did not purchase a new Hobonichi cousin for next year. So I'm really happy with the lineup that I have. Let me know what you think about my planner and journal lineup, and let me know if you have any books that you are carrying into next year. Do you have your lineup figured out? Are you still contemplating? I know there are a lot of options out there right now, and everybody is in a frenzy trying to figure stuff out, which is, you know, this is our time. I mean, I really like watching all of these videos and figuring out what everybody is doing. And it is, while there is chaos, there is also a lot of excitement in this time of the year, especially when it comes to the planner community. So yeah, let me know what you think, and thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.